2013 called Ryan Laurel Resourcing.
Yeah. I just fucking realized I didn't press record.
Shit happens, man.
Can you just say all that again?
Yeah.
I've been recording there. I just haven't been recording here.
Oh, no, we'll do it all again, man. Like, this is easy. I'm sure people go,
I don't know how to say that. So recruitment.
Yeah,
you're in London. You were married.
I was married. Same girl. All my 20s.
Yeah.
So yeah, I moved. So started off I have a TAFE qualification in hospitality management and aquaculture.
Yeah, right.
So I'm really good with fish tanks.
Yeah.
Because I don't really use it in my today's world of recruitment. Finished my TAFE degree. Couldn't find a job in aquaculture, so I started off being a construction labourer for a recruitment company. That recruitment company placed me in a mining parts supply company as their storeman.
Yeah.
Ended up working there for 3 years, sending mining parts all over Australia, basically up to Indonesia.
Yeah.
SARS hit, kind of things went a bit slow, went and worked for another company for a bit. That didn't work out, so I went back to being a labourer. And then one day I had an epiphany. I was on the wrong end of the shovel. I should have been on the other end giving people jobs.
Yeah.
So I asked the recruitment company that I was working for, blue collar people, if I could have a job as a recruiter.
Yeah.
And they went, have you got any experience in the office? So I bullshitted. And I said, when you placed me as a storeman, I went to the office all the time. Oh, you've got office experience. Yeah. So they came in, gave me a job interview. I'm dyslexic. Fernando Ortiz drilled me in the interview and basically at the end of it, they said, yeah, fine, you've got a job. And at the time, they said, how much money do you want? And this is back in the day. So I said, I'm going to ask for $3 more grand than what I'm currently on at the moment.
Yeah.
$35,000.
Yeah.
And wrote it down. Fernando rings me in the afternoon and said, mate, you nailed the interview, but I'm going to pay you 50. And I thought it was all the fucking money in the world, like 50 fucking grand. Holy shit. Like, yeah, great. And started that. Was blue collar people for a year doing just everything. I was so happy there. And then my girlfriend at the time came home and said she's moving to London and you can either follow me or we'll just call it a day after 4 years. And I'm like, okay, this is...
That's a fucking ultimatum.
Oh, it's an ultimatum, mate.
I mean, like...
Story of my life, but we'll get to that. How many hours have we got to talk today? Like we
got a few.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Multiple episodes coming.
Yeah, it could be. So I decided, the short story is I followed my girlfriend at the time to London and I said, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to ask her to marry me.
Yeah.
So I booked the capsule in the London Eye, got engaged. We got married 18 months, a little bit after that.
Yeah.
Everything was going well. This was about 2007. Since I was about 8, I decided that I was going to be a business owner one day. I just didn't know what in.
Yeah.
I had no money, no confidence, nothing like that.
Yeah.
And so what I did was, in 2007, I was getting itchy. I'd built a really good rapport with the guy that I was working for in the UK called Nathan Colborne, and I was working for a company called Resourcing Group, which had 2 other brands, Community Resourcing and Technical Resourcing. Nathan and I became very good drinking buddies, and I found out through the grapevine that things were moving along. And in end of 2007, start of 2008, they sold to venture capital. I don't know if you remember what happened in 2008, but we had a little bit of a financial correction. So that
we had a major financial correction.
I remember when Lehman Brothers went bust and like 22,000 people in bank in London basically just lost their job, man.
Yeah.
It was mayhem. So, okay, still going to start this company. Yep, we'll be all right. 5 months into this, my wife at the time comes back from Ibiza from a girls' trip and goes, I want a divorce. So I went, sorry, what the fuck? Said, we're not happy. You're always working. And you know what? Me and my ex-wife are very, very civil these days. It's been 15 years. So didn't know what to do with myself. Came back to Australia broke. Had all this knowledge. Went back to the company I'd started my recruitment career, Blue Collar People. Had a balling 2-year career there. Absolutely balling. That was 2011. So the mining boom in Perth was just killed. Like it was. When Perth has one trick, and when that one trick is the mining, oh my God, there's no other better market in the world.
Yeah.
You know, it's so then what happened? I decided in 2013, after leaving Blue Collar People, working for another company, I'm going to do a bit of consulting work in London, based from Perth, and then also start a new recruitment business called Ryan Laurel Resourcing. Ryan is my middle name. Laurel is the street I used to live on in Perth in Mullaloo, behind the Mullaloo Tavern.
Oh, shit.
And then Resourcing.
I think I know that tavern.
It's a very nice. It's good for a Sunday
Yeah,
session.
yeah.
There is another story with that. We'll get to that. And then Resourcing is half the name of my mate's company, Nathan, I used to work for in the UK.
Yeah.
Hence TRS Resourcing. But we'll get to that story. So start Ryan Laurel Resourcing. Didn't have a bookkeeper. I've always a very good recruiter, business development, but my back end was always a bit lacking. So after 3 years and 8 months, I went spectacularly broke at 35, 36. I mean, $1.2 million. So I went, shit, what are we going to do here? So I moved to Melbourne with $5,000 to my name. And started again as a sole trader with TRS Resourcing. Now, TRS Resourcing is my initials, Tavis Shearer, and Resourcing. So we've been going 8 years now, worked all the liquidation stuff out. Anyone says to you that liquidations are easy, they've never been through one. Like, fuck off. Like, sorry. Oh, by the way, I do swear a lot, but yeah.
I don't care.
Okay, good.
I don't.
Well, this is your podcast.
I don't fucking care.
Good.
Like, I think people who swear are a little bit more real.
Oh yeah, we can get real.
Because we just emphasize like the emotions, really, at the end of the day.
Yeah. Emotions. It's taken me a long time to become a good managing director and to manage staff and to lead people. It's not something that you're born with.
Why did you want to do that though? Like, why did you want to manage people and lead people?
I felt I was going to be good at it eventually.
Yeah.
Repetition is key.
Yeah.
And if I always wanted to be a business owner, you need to learn how to manage staff.
Yeah.
Because you can be a highly paid sole entrepreneur. But I felt that I don't have kids.
Yeah.
And I always felt that my purpose on this planet was to give people employment, and that's it. Like it's the one thing that I wake up and go, that's what I want to do. Do I want to do it forever? No. Has it created a few dramas in my personal life? Yes. I live with one of my best friends, who's a lawyer here in Melbourne. She's recently moved here, but she's been on and off in my house for about a year. She moved in after how could I put this diplomatically? I had quite a volatile relationship. I ended up dating a married woman.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, not divorced. Divorced, married, but married, and that created a few. Yeah,
that's complicated.
It cost me a lot of my
sanity,
bandwidth.
Yeah, bandwidth. Yeah,
bandwidth.
Yeah.
We're civil, all good. She's working out her life, but like, I guess when you're so focused on building a business, right?
Yeah.
And I have had spectacular wins and spectacular fuck-ups. And I still have spectacular wins and spectacular fuck-ups to this day.
I fucking respect that. I respect that you say that, because a lot of people will just talk about like the spectacular things that they do, like the glory, you know, as opposed to talking about the failures and everything that happens, you know, in the whole picture, not just the pretty picture.
You've got to own it.
Yeah.
You've got to be present. And too many people that I meet, maybe it's just the circle I trade in, are all about, you know, the fast cars, the spectacular girlfriends, the spectacular houses. But when you look behind the facade of that, there's nothing there. And it's all there's fucking this. And like I was that managing director in my Perth days. I was very flashy, very just in the moment. Like I remember having huge Sunday sessions at the Mullaloo Tavern or Hillary's, and when I was living in Mullaloo or Calgary, is like, but then waking up Monday morning going, what am I doing this week? What am I doing? There's no plan to this. There's no purpose. There's no structure.
Yeah.
And like this version 45-year-old Tav that you see in front of you, this is something that I have had to kind of forge myself into being by going through failure after failure, whether it's a business fuck up, personal life fuck up. I'm single, have been for 2 years. People get confused by my Instagram, but the blonde on my Instagram is actually my roommate, Yulia. And it's about learning, and I guess for me, what I've kind of understood is a decision that I make today is going to affect something that happens tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's kind of trying to be this in a condensed version. I mean, people go, Tav, they look at my life, you know, I had a divorce in my end of my 20s, early 30s. I had a liquidation towards the mid to the end of my 30s. I got my life back together when I was 41, and I'm 45 now. So in that,
it's transformation.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
what it is.
Yeah.
Like, I think people put too much emphasis on the word failure when realizing that it's just us, like we're snakes, like we're shedding our skin, you know, and we're transforming into something else. One of the biggest things that I value is growth. Yeah. And with growth comes failure or comes mistakes.
Amen.
And mistakes are lessons that you need to learn in order to transform, you know. And I think it's real important to like for people to realize that, because then they don't put so much pressure on themselves.
Agree. However, I have this big philosophy, and I would love to be proven wrong. I think us men are forged, not made. So we have to, us as men, we have to learn from our mistakes. And if we don't learn from them, something bigger is going to happen for us to make us learn from that.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah. That's happened to me.
Oh, I'm so fucking, and this is why I have this rule, and it's only going off my own view. I don't think anyone should get married until they're 30, at least. And it's only because you're different in your 20s to your 30s. And so much of a change as a person goes from their 20s into their 30s.
I got married in my 20s.
So did I. I actually got married. I got married under a gum tree in Peppermint Grove. So I married in the Peppy Grove family.
Oh, shit.
You know, I learned so much from my father-in-law.
That's bougie.
Oh, yeah. He was saying to me, Tav, we need a Sunday car. What are you feeling? I probably need something sporty. Yeah, okay, cool. 5 weeks later, there was a 550 Maranello in the driveway, man. I love that car. I actually got offered that car. Unfortunately, Pete's no longer with us. He passed on a few years, but I love that car. I still love that car to this day. And
yeah, and in your 20s.
Yeah, in my 20s, 26. Like I'll be honest, mate, I don't come from money. My mum lives in Gosnells.
Yeah.
Okay. Everything I have made off my own back. Everything I've lost has been off my own back. Everything people say to me, I think they got addicted to the hero story, right? It's just
you did.
Yeah, like I got a reputation for getting involved in other people's issues and trying to solve with my friends group.
Right.
I'm a very different person these days. Like I talk about this on my own podcast, but circle of influence, right?
Yeah.
And what I mean by that, who do you hang out with? Like, are your people that are your friends, are they there? Are they trying to uplift you, or are they a bucket of crabs where you start lifting up and they pull you back down? Now, I've had a few of those people, and I've had to learn that just because this guy's a mate, is he really a mate? I guess I've watched a couple of your podcasts, and you were talking to the girls that were on the couch here about dating, right? And I think one of them asked you, what are you looking for in a relationship? Peace is my answer.
Yeah, 100% peace.
But
yeah, I don't want drama.
Yeah.
No drama.
No, yeah, but drama is inevitable. But like at the end of the day, you need a common, base, a foundation of peace, right? And that's what I live for in my life today. So people can fuck up with me, they own it. If I really like the person that I am today, right? I'm not one of these people that think my heydays were behind me or like this. It's like people like to either love me or hate me. Like there is no black and white with me. Either you love who I am or you don't, and I respect that, right? But
just fuck off.
Yeah, fuck off.
Like if you don't like me, get out of my way.
Absolutely.
Stop trying to like roadblock me.
You know what? People fucking piss me off. This passive aggressiveness.
Yeah.
I've stopped going to my local cafe because the barista is so fucking passive aggressive towards me.
Right.
Oh, how are you? Because I'll pull up in the Mustang, the thing's just fucking blowing fire or whatever, right? And he's like, oh, okay. Or I'll have Yuli, my roommate, with me. And I'm like, every time I'm there on my own, he's a fucking smart ass to me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Every time I got Yuli with me, he's quiet. But then he'll overboil both of our coffees. Yeah. So I'm like, what the fuck what's this passive aggressiveness all about? I don't know. I think if we were all honest with ourselves and said, hey, I don't like you, you don't like me, cool, let's just move on. Yeah. But everyone's all this, they want to have these fake friends or these influence or this 100,000 followers on Instagram and there's nothing behind it. I meet so many influencers that are broke and I'm like, but they're obsessed with their followers. And they haven't got, and I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. And I'm not saying everyone needs to like work for money, but just be your genuine self.
Yeah, authenticity doesn't cost anything, but it's also priceless, right? Because you can't put a value to it. And if you're magnetic from a personality point of view, you will just attract things towards you. You know.
And see, people trying to get me to go on dating apps at the moment, and I couldn't think of anything worse. I have a LinkedIn following. Occasionally someone will pop up on that, but I'm all for organic connection.
Yeah.
And I guess for me, where I've probably made some mistakes in my personal life is probably trying to make something work that just was never going to work.
Yeah.
Because I was so focused on running a business that I was kind of going, okay, this is going to work. Madly in love with this woman, but there's all these other things going on at the moment.
Yeah.
And like that whole period of my life, and I know we're jumping around a bit here, was like I lost staff, I lost money. I was a zombie for probably a good year.
Yeah.
But the thing I learned from that is if you don't make choices that are best for you today now, it's going to affect something tomorrow. Regardless of how hard that is. And like people say, oh, you're very resilient, Tavis, you're that. But I think if you need to be more authentic, and that's why I was so happy to come on your podcast. Like, you know, we've been talking during the week. And I've watched about 6 of your episodes, and I really wanted to get a style of how you do this, and you're very good at it. You should keep doing it. I don't want you to be one of these podcasters that stop at 88 episodes.
No, well, that's what like you're 116.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this train ain't stopping.
I think it's great. Like we need to be more of this because I believe this is the easiest way to learn something.
Yeah, like the reason I started this was because I wanted to like shine the focus more on models and photographers, being a photographer myself. And then I expanded it out to like performers and business people, and I've had, you know, doctors on and like stuff like that. So at what point, like in today's world, like with all the social media and technology and, you know, us attached to our phones or our computers or whatever, like how often do we get to sit down and actually have an in-depth conversation with someone for like 2 hours?
You don't.
And like learn about them, you know? And so I just like, I give people a safe space to like open up and tell me stuff that they wouldn't have normally mentioned to me at all, you know?
You do have a good gift for that. You're very genuine in what you have to say.
Mm.
I guess as we're getting deeper into this, probably the biggest lessons I've learned in life is managing director Tav can't be the same as personal Tav, and vice versa. I can't be personal Tav in my business because if don't get me wrong, I've got great rapport with the staff that work for TRS Resourcing, and we've got very long tenure, like 8 years. You know, my CFO is my old accountant, so she's been with me since she was 21, 22. She went traveling and then came back because of a relationship she was traveling with. The boy and her didn't work out, so she came back, and she's been with me ever since.
Yeah.
I've had to learn that it's okay to be me, and I'm loud, I'm tall, I wear 3/4 length trench coats, I have a loud car. I'm not trying to be someone I'm not, but for so long, because I was tall and because I naturally speak loud, I always tried to pull myself back in.
Yeah.
And it's only since I was 41, since I finished my liquidation and I got my life back, is, you don't know how long you've got on this rock.
Yeah.
Like Nathan, my mentor that I used to work with in the UK, he died of the brain tumor got him, but it could have been the lung cancer in the end.
Yeah.
He didn't even make his daughter's 21st birthday.
Yeah, right.
And I'm like, I don't know how much fucking time I have on this rock. And I guess that's where I started to accelerate TRS. I was, I started TRS Resourcing because I was running out of money for Jack Daniels. True story. I was depressed. I started this liquidation. I thought, I had lots of fucking people, looking for like money and shit. And I was sitting there in my Carlton apartment, just drinking. I watched every episode of Breaking Bad, right? I was not in a great spot. And it took me 3 years to really get through that. But when Nathan passed, I don't know how much time I got. I was massively overweight. So that was kind of the turning point for me in my late 30s. I still had the liquidation over my head, but that was starting to clear up. We were starting to make, when I say we, me and me, was trying to get through all this.
That's a lot to have to do by yourself, though.
Yeah, but it's a lot if you look at it as a lot. But if you look at it in daily, weekly snippets, I didn't know what the outcome was going to be. I don't know if I was going to be, the book thrown at me. At the end of the day, it all was like, yeah, well, you're good, Tav. Like, you just get on with your life. I didn't declare bankruptcy. I was always very honest and open about, at the time I owned a house and I owned a car, and like they knew there was nothing to hide. I wasn't hiding fucking money. And I guess I started TRS as a sole trader, got some money coming in. I remember the first month of TRS, I had to borrow $1,500 from my mum for rent. And this is, I was 37. Like I was on paper, I should have had my fucking life together. You know what I mean? I feel like I live my life in reverse sometimes. Like I was married, very serious, property in my 20s, divorced, tried to learn how to date again. Because you've been with a girl for basically your whole 20s. So how do you date? How do you fucking date? So we have to go through that.
It's changed.
Oh, it's changed again, man.
It's
changed again. Yeah,
I'm
like, are you guys in like, oh man, we could have a whole fucking podcast about that. And like, yeah, so starting the divorce, getting through that.
It's interesting as you're like talking, I'm reflecting on such similarities that I've had.
Correct.
Like I mean I grew up overseas and like never had one set group of friends or whatever.
Yep.
And felt like I was trying to fit in all the time.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
So when you try to fit in, you try to do all the right things.
Yep.
But then inevitably it just kind of like fell apart. And, like I got married in my 20s, had kids, you know, divorced in my 30s and now in my 40s. I'm like, you know what? Like, I am me. Like, take me how you want me.
You're hardwired, but you're not. You're looking for friends, relationships that add to your life.
Yeah.
You're not looking for someone who is going to detract's the wrong word, but if they don't align with where you are in life, inevitably it's not going to work.
Yeah.
The relationship that I referred to earlier in this podcast, we were age gap. She was 12 years younger than me. Great for moments. Dating someone whilst going through a divorce is never easy. And I guess that was the bit that I was trying to fix. So, but inevitably it just fell apart. Still have a lot of respect for it. But, you
just
know,
didn't work out.
Didn't work out the way that I wanted it to work out. There's only a handful of people that I thought that this was the one, and it was her and my ex-wife. Not saying that I wouldn't have that feeling again. It's more of a case that the lessons that I learned in that period of my life highlights to me, if I ignore red flags and just pretend everything's going to be okay, is because it's generally not. And I've also ignored red flags in my business life that has ended up costing me my business because you go handshake deals. We're good. Guys that to this day I would still go have a beer at the pub with, right? But they got in their own fucking dramas, and I didn't do my due diligence on where they were in their businesses. And at the end of the mining boom there in sort of 2015 in Perth, it took everything out. Like, it was a good time to buy a jet ski in Perth. Let's put it that way. So what I'm trying to get at is like, yeah, I've had a lot of shit to deal with, but there's two ways to look at it. You can let the dramas in your life weigh you down, or you can basically use that to sort of climb over and go to the next, because we're all going to have fucking dramas in our life, yeah? And I don't want to turn this chat into a fucking woe is me or this, but like, I strongly believe that every drama that happens to you has an equal fucking positive reaction if you want it to.
Yeah. Yeah, it's what you do with it, right?
Yeah.
It's what actions you take and how you react to that negative situation or that situation that's, currently been occurred.
Absolutely. And don't get me wrong, like the last 2 years in Melbourne economy-wise has not been great. But I kind of felt like everything that I've been through to date has let me sort of manage the TRS resourcing ship in a certain way. Like you're making sure that staff stay motivated, on track, making sure that they understand the importance of every placement that they feel, making sure we have good rapport. But like, it's weird, like everything, even from my hospitality background days. I used to be the short order. I used to, 99, 2000, I used to work at Fast Eddie's in Fremantle as a night cook there, right? All the stuff I learned from hospitality from there.
We were in Perth at the same time.
I know. Yeah. So,
Essex
Street.
Year 2000, New Year's Eve, I went to the Leaderville.
Oh, the Leady. So, okay, funny story. I used to work for Metro City as their glassy.
Funny as.
Okay, so Metro City, funny story. Plenty of fucking funny stories working in a nightclub. I was going through TAFE doing my hospitality course, and my accountant, who it turned out to be my father-in-law's accountant, said, okay, let's play the game. You need to get a hospitality job. So all this money because this is back in the day when TAFE wasn't free, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you need to get a job, nightclub, whatever. So I'll get a job, nightclub. Great, good place to meet people. And so I could start tax deducting. I was mentored there by a guy called Frank Prodrog. And Frank this is back when Metro City, Metro Freo, and the Clink were all owned by the same group of people. It's back there when everyone's cash.
The bikies?
Croatians.
Oh, Croatians.
The Croatians. We'll get to a funny Croatian story. But yeah, and like he was saying to me back in the day when like they had the three clubs, Frank would commonly have $500,000 cash on his desk on a Sunday
What the fuck?
Yeah, cash. Unheard of today.
Yeah.
$500,000 cash. That
is unheard of.
Unfucking, but so many, so many stories. Like I met Coldplay, cool guys.
Yeah.
I was roadieing them for a while. And hey, buddy. And like you all these little things that are insignificant, right? And you then they come in later. Like before I made any money at TRS, right? I was always into cars, but I have this rule that if I can't afford the car, I'm not going to buy the car. So I'm not going to hire it. I'm not going to fund it. If I can't afford the car, I'm not going to do it.
Right.
I've always been a car guy, right?
Yeah.
And I remember the Bull Rush Rally guys. I'm like, one day I want to afford to do that.
Yeah.
Now I did Bull Rush last year, and I'm doing Bull Rush again this year.
Yeah. That's fucking cool.
That is fucking cool. And I told Simon, the co-founder of Bull Rush, my story. So that's fucking cool. So like, I love putting a plan into place and working towards that plan. The problem that I've struggled with in my life is, okay, I'm so focused on this outcome with the company, right? My personal life is just whatever. So it's pretty common for me to work 6-7 days a week.
Right.
People know where I live. The garage door's open. I'm home. Come on in. But it's like the older I've got, the more balance I've tried to bring into my life. It's probably the easiest way to say it. And like today, you and I getting smaller and smaller bandwidth.
Yeah.
If you don't bring peace to my life, whatever it is, it's not going to work.
Yeah. I again, very similar.
Yeah.
I've got the hero complex, try to fix everything. I think a lot of that is to do with, like my mom and I'm the oldest son, yada, yada, all of that type of stuff. But I said something the other day to a mate of mine, and I was like, what happens with me when I get into relationships is I take on a lot of people's energy and I take on their energy and then it kind of like morphs and changes me, and I need to like turn that fucking tap off. Stop taking on other people's energies. And it's really hard because I genuinely like care about people, and it's just something that I've realized is about me. And so this year I made the decision that you don't get second chances. You get one chance. You know why? You get one chance because people know what they're doing.
100%.
They know what they're doing, regardless of whether or not they think they don't or they behave like they don't. They fucking know. Bro.
Yeah, they know.
Don't waste my time.
Okay. It's going to be a long podcast.
You know what I mean? Like,
I do know what you mean. A lot of people know what they're doing, but I also think a lot of people operate on a subconscious level.
Yeah.
I see it all the time with giving people jobs and looking for work for people. Like, they have a set idea of what they want, but they won't look outside of that.
Yeah.
And what I see this with a lot of relationships is you see two people. You got a good mate. He's got a new girlfriend. Or they've got a boyfriend, whatever. And they're over the moon, smitten with them. And you're going, there's something not right about this.
Yeah.
And but it's your intuition. Oh, I'm going to be, but then you're not surprised when it goes fucking south. And I guess for me, I've had a lot of those sort of relationships,
Yeah.
Someone's off. Okay.
Yeah.
We're over here. Someone trying to make you jealous.
Oh yeah. 100%.
Yeah. You can come up here. I've lost my train of thought. Is like, you got to be careful. Again, it comes back to your circle of influence.
Yeah.
Most of my best mates are business owners, and it's not from I don't know. I don't have friends that are not business owners. I do, but my inner core is generally people that have the same sort of dramas that I have.
Yeah.
Honestly, weirdly though, I'm the only one who is single in this thing, but that because I'm very happy with where I am in life. And if I find someone who meets me halfway, great, game on, right? But getting back to this whole hero complex thing, I had to go speak to a psychologist for a little bit there because, and I still check in from time to time because you absorb so much work, personal, that you start questioning what the fuck is real and where do I start and where am I? Because it all just feels the same fucking thing, right?
Yeah.
And you got to unpack that. But like, I'm all for people being vulnerable. I'm all for people being like, 100% them are, but don't make your problems my problems.
Yeah.
Like, don't
try to intertwine like your drama into my life.
Correct.
That's not how it's actually going to work.
Or have no intention of getting anything resolved.
Yeah.
And I've seen this with, like, I talked to a line manager. Okay, Tav, we need all these jobs filled. Okay, cool. Okay, you do realize that person for that money doesn't exist anymore. But that's all the budget we've got. Okay, it's cool. I'm not going to resource that. And they get shitty with me. So why can't you give the whole? Because what you want doesn't exist. But it's like they know it, but they want to make it. They want to make their problem your problem, and somehow that's going to make everything better.
Yeah.
We're going a bit of a deep chat. Okay. I guess, in order to be successful in all areas of your life, I think it comes down to managing other people's expectations of you and what you can do for them versus what you can do for yourself.
Yeah.
My dyslexic brain's kicked in a bit here. So
it's definitely a juggling act, I think. And it's a juggling act on like managing yourself, your own personal like being versus how other people see you.
Correct.
And I think to kind of like relay that back from a business point of view, it's the point of working on the business versus working in the business. And a lot of people don't work on the business, they work in the business, which is where my corporate life kind of comes into play in my management consulting piece. But, the great thing is I'm typically like a third person coming in kind of going, I can see all this activity and these gaps and how do we fill them? Well, you fill them like this or you fill them like that or like,
Absolutely. It's funny you should work on your business. You bring this up because I was having this conversation the other day and I feel that I am very guilty from flipping from both roles where I work on the business, but then I'll see something in the business and I'll jump in, and it's a bit like The Godfather 3. It's like just when I was out, they pull me back in. And you find yourself in the trenches again. And I don't mind being in the trenches every now and again.
Yeah.
But I find myself being like very comfortable in the trenches.
Yeah.
Like when I was like, oh, hang on, wait a sec. I need to pull myself out of this.
You know why you're comfortable? You're comfortable because the muscle memory kicks in.
Yeah, 100%.
And you're like, boom, I'm fucking in it.
Bang, let's go. Right, that's what the true attack, and it's like, the muscle memory. I guess I've been a recruiter 25 years, right? So when did I start? I started around when I was 20.
That's a long time.
23.
You are committed.
Yeah, I'm 45 now. I'm going to call it quits at 50. I once had this crazy notion, 30. Okay, I'm going to make 5 mil by 35, and I'm out.
Right.
Well, I didn't make 5 mil by 35, but I had a spectacular.
You made it by 32.
No. You think you have these grandiose fucking ideas in your 30s and your 20s. It's all going to be this and that, and you're going to fucking do this.
It's good to have a goal, though. Yeah. I like that. Goal setting is so important.
Goal setting, vision boarding. I'm a massive fan of the power of attraction.
Yeah.
Good and bad.
Yeah.
I guess where the biggest lessons I've learned is don't run the gauntlet. you can push your luck, push your boundaries on something, but there's a certain way to do something for a fucking reason.
Yeah.
Like, don't build a business and don't have a bookkeeper. It's just going to end in tears. Don't build a business and understand when.
Hang on. Did you say don't build a business and have a bookkeeper?
No. Otherwise, sorry, I said don't build a business without having. A bookkeeper.
Without. Okay. Yeah.
So
I was
that's
gonna
the
say,
problem with the
I'm
first business. I just started, and then my funders at the time assumed that I had all this in place.
Gotcha.
And they went, "Sorry, what? You don't have a bookkeeper?" And this is the Ryan Laurel days. The first 3-4 months, I didn't have anything. I just got on the phone and did some deals and brought some money in and game on.
Yeah.
And I guess, you don't learn from being successful. You learn from your fuck ups, right? You learn nothing from success. I learned fuck all from success.
Yeah.
Other than a fucking bad hangover because we've gone out and fucking party, we got a deal or something.
But hang on. There's that saying, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I'm totally gonna fuck the saying up.
No,
but it's got to do with, like, when you're successful, that's when the devil's gonna come for you.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. Fucking oath. And he comes in many forms.
Yeah.
There's 3 things that I'm scared of in this world, and I will tell you what they are. First is my mother. 2 is Rachel, my CFO. And 3 is the ATO.
Yeah.
Those 3 I am deadly fucking scared of.
Right.
So when people say, what are your fears? I have 3. And I tell them, they look at me weirdly. You're scared of my mother? Yeah, absolutely. I'll swear, but I'll never use the C or B word in front of a woman. If I did that, my mother would know. She would get on a plane. She would fly here. She would fucking kick off at me, and then she'd fly back to Perth.
Yeah.
It's just who I am.
Yeah.
But I meet a lot of people who says, "Oh, I want to start a business." Okay, so start, but I don't know what.
Yeah.
A business isn't like, I feel like a lot of people want to start businesses because they're trying to resolve something. I got married to try to resolve an issue in a relationship, right? And I had a beautiful marriage, a beautiful relationship. It's like, oh, I want to do this, so do it. Oh, I don't know how. One foot in front of the other. Like, and they're like, oh, I don't know how to do that. How do I pay my bills? I don't know. Like, just start and see what happens. And
just roll with it.
And this is what I get. Like, people say, oh, it's easy for you to do business. It's easier for me to be in business now because it's all I've been in for I've basically worked in business for myself since 2013.
Yeah.
Okay. And I thought 2013 to now, I wouldn't be working anymore. Well, I'm still working 5 days a week, 6 days a week.
Yeah.
And like a lot of people I talk to, they sort of get like this, how do you do this? How do you do that? Sometimes it's called YouTube and it's called just fucking see what happens.
Yeah. There's this website where you can find anything and it's called google.com.
You can chat now.
Well, yeah. Well, you can use ChatGPT now or Claude or like Grok or like anything, right?
Well,
if you want to know anything, you just like ask someone or ask your phone and it'll tell you.
Do you know what I think it is though? And you probably see this a lot in your management consultancy. People get addicted to one trick.
Yeah.
Or they get addicted to one way of doing something, or they're so wrapped up in being an employee that, and don't get me wrong, some people are awesome employees. And I have met a couple of people that are multimillionaires just from being an employee, not from shares, just, whatever. And just the way that they've structured their life. I knew from an early age that I wanted to be a business owner. And I knew that got backed up in my London days with recruitment because I would start mutinies in companies. Like, it's
why and how?
Just by the way I talk to people, and us versus management.
Right.
Like, I would challenge management.
I'm kind of like getting that sense.
When I first
you're not afraid for a confrontation and proving a point.
No, like I learned this my first week working in London recruitment was I just went to lunch whenever. They thought that idea was baffling. I'm like, you just go to lunch whenever the fuck you want. I'm like, yeah, well, does not like, but we're gonna like, sorry, I'm like, sorry, like, well, normally we have set times of 12 and 1, but you just go at like 1:15, or sometimes you won't go till 2:00, and I'm like, yeah, because I'm busy.
Yeah.
And like there was just yeah. I'm like, yeah, but maybe, and then like. Funny story. The printer was broken one day. So there was about 80 recruiters on the office floor. So I just turned the printer off. And they said, it's baffled. Like, why have you done that? Well, I just want to see if the printer's going to work. And it fixed up right. But like, I've always asked questions that I shouldn't. I've always asked direct questions. My philosophy in life is it's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission.
100%. When I was working for a bank,
one of the big four?
Yeah, one of the big four.
Yeah.
A senior risk manager said to me, because I had to go to him and I was like, I've done this initiative, can you just overview?
Check it, make sure.
He was like, his name was Sean, actually. Yeah,
Sean.
Yeah, Sean.
Good guy to have a beer with?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what
he was like, okay, I'm not going to look at anything, but I'm just going to ask you 3 questions.
Oh, fuck, here we go.
Is anyone dying? No.
No, we're good.
Are we getting fined? Nope. And then the last one was, is it impacting like employees or customers? I said no. I was like, well, it's fine then.
Is the initiative still in place?
Oh, well, that was many years ago, but
Is it, why did the big four take so long to like update their systems? Because I remember when I was in London, instant pay was in then, so that would have been 2004, 2005, and we've only had instant pay in Australia for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Why? Like,
I think it's definitely got something to do with like the systems and being able to transfer and stuff like that.
Is it more of a case they were making, because Australian banks are in the top 5%, well, top 10% of banks in the world for profitability, right?
Correct.
Is it just because they were making so much fucking money they didn't care?
Probably.
Like, well, like, it ain't broken, don't fix it. Like the Australian people, I don't know. I just find it fascinating that
I think it could be similar to what's happened with the rail system here.
Tell me more.
When you catch a train from Perth to Melbourne, you have to change trains in Adelaide.
Correct.
Because the rail gauge is different.
Oh, fuck, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Fuck, I forgot about that.
Why is the rail gauge different? Well, the rail gauge is different because the railway gangs that built the rail system didn't have a universal measurement.
God, we did fucking shit.
Yeah, and with the railway gangs, they wanted to push their own things, right? So I think that's transcended into, corporations wanting to do their own things. And I think for a long time, this idea of automation was actually manual handling.
I don't know if this is a social conspiracy, but I hear a lot of them. I go to my girls in the office. Where did you hear that? TikTok. I'm like, can we please stop getting our news source from TikTok? But apparently,
you have to go with the trend. You have to go with what's happening.
I like a good conspiracy theory, but like, generally when I have to stop my work and like,
don't follow Fox News or CNN. No.
I'm like, where the heck did
TikTok
we hear this?
is definitely the place to be getting all your facts from.
Yeah, can we just get some factual facts on this? I'm like, well, that's an interesting conspiracy. Apparently, MetroNet, the Metro Tunnel.
Oh yeah,
we've built it that only one type of train will fit on the station.
Yes, that is true. That's actually true.
That is true.
It's true. You know why? Because they fucking built the tunnel 30 centimeters too small. They spent all this money on these trains.
Yeah.
And then when they built the fucking tunnel, the diameter was 30 centimeters too small. So the trains that they bought couldn't fit in it.
Isn't this like
A fr-
13 or $15 billion we've spent?
Oh
on it?
yeah. Oh yeah.
So what are we gonna do with?
You can't exactly like make the tunnel bigger, can ya? So now you got to go back to the train suppliers and be like, you got to retrofit everything into a compactor carriage so that it can fit in. It's
So that is
fucking
true.
yeah. A mate of mine, his sister's husband was
Friends, cousins,
Yeah.
real relative overheard something at the pub. Yeah, I get
Well,
where you're going with this.
yeah,
Yeah. Heard something at the pub.
No, he told me the week before it came out in the news.
Okay, I
So
don't
it is
watch
out-
mainstream
It
news.
is out in the news.
Okay, yeah. I try to get facts. I don't even remember the last time I watched Free to Air, which probably tells things. But I mean, I guess the biggest thing that I've learned recently is like you've got to be who you are, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I want to do more podcasts, and again, thank you for inviting me. But at the same time as well, I feel that it's okay to have the views that you have, right?
Mm.
I have interesting political views. Well, I don't think they're interesting. I just think they're political views. But like, I've had to encourage people in my office to have a political view, regardless what if that's left, right, wing, what I don't care. But to have a healthy debate, and at the end of the day, like, be okay that we have different views. And I find that quite sad that people have to try to convince everyone else to think the same way that they think. I'm sorry, I know we're going off a little bit tangent here, but like, I think it just sort of links into what we're trying to say here is like, I kind of feel that people are allowed to have a different opinion to your own.
Yeah.
But I feel like we crucify as a fucking society.
Yeah.
Where we get this group of a certain group of people will attack someone just because of their views, and I find that wrong.
Yeah.
But I don't understand why we don't talk about it more.
It also comes back to one of your original points about like just having peace.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
If we just have peace and we allow people to have their own opinions or have their own viewpoints and not try to push those viewpoints or values on other people, well, then we can live more peacefully.
Correct.
You know, and
spend less energy on things.
Spend less energy on like fighting each other, because like, what's the point in that? And ultimately, we always end up wanting the same thing anyway. When you get down to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you know,
if more people thought like that, would you be out of a job? Would there be management consultancy sort of work? I don't know, because I just find
I would be out of a job. Yeah, 100%.
Well, that's not going to happen anytime soon, is it?
But I also think like because and I'm not religious at all.
I'm an atheist.
But they're all striving for the same thing, like pushing their own agenda, believing in a god or a being and worshipping that god, and then you've got like particular principles that you need to follow and like all this type of stuff, right? It's all the same thing.
Yeah. It does make me sad, though.
I mean, the Jehovah's Witnesses think that the world is going to end, but they've been thinking the world's going to end for like the last 50 years. Hasn't ended.
It's changed.
Yeah.
It's changed. We don't use a lot of things we don't use any. Like, it's changing. Like, I don't know, like it I would love to say that, we're going to get to a peace and harmonious and this and that, but I don't think we are.
Yeah.
Like, people want socialism, people want communism, people want capitalism, people want to fucking sit on the dole for the whole fucking life. And, people want what they want, but I've got to be careful with what I say in some conversations because I know I'm going to create a fucking like a reaction.
Why do you feel like you have to be like that?
Being 6'5", right, and being a little bit, how can I put this? People like a little. I seem to have a presence, right? I don't want to
You
create.
definitely have an aura about you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And when you get to people who know me, you think, fuck, he's a great guy. But you know, I have to be careful because I don't want to react. I don't want to invoke a reaction out of someone that. And I've had reactions out of people like just out of fucking nowhere, like quite violent. I'm like, what? Like serious? Like just because they assume that's the way this conversation's going to go. But it's my presence is probably more to do with the fact that I didn't have a strong father figure in my life. I haven't spoken to my father in 18 years. He lives somewhere up in Asia. I wish him all the best. But I got a lot of
Are you my twin?
Potentially. We could be.
Are you my long lost brother?
Could be. Yeah. It's not the first time someone's actually said that to me. It's like I drink and know things.
I mean, I don't drink, but you know, it's
I still drink. I don't drink anywhere near what I used to, but
yeah.
I have been known to have a one or two. It's like, I guess, and this is something else, because I've always wanted this. I'm going to be a business owner. This is my purpose. I've knew it since I was 8. I'm going to make this happen. I've developed this aura, this energy, and people go, fuck, who the fuck is that? Like, true story. I was business development manager for blue collar people, and I walked into a new client. Hadn't done business with them before, some sort of construction company, or they were a warehouse distribute, can't remember. Anyway, walked in through the front door. This is I've been back from London, so I was still wearing suits. I was still sounding quite British. I've been in London for 7 years. And this lady took one look at me and said, fuck, do we owe money? I'm like, sorry? She goes, do we owe you money? Do we owe money? I'm like, sorry? She goes, the way you're dressed, you look like who you are. You some sort of debt collector.
The Undertaker.
Do you? And I'm like, no, I've got a meeting with your boss. And just weird shit like that has happened to me a lot, where someone will get intimidated by me and I'll say nothing, or they'll, I don't know, like, I think this is why I also really, 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 really vet who I date.
Yeah.
It doesn't always work out the best.
Yeah.
But unless I'm 100% sure that I want to do something, I probably won't put myself, like, I don't see the point in dating for the sake of dating, right?
Yeah.
It's just a waste of fucking time.
Yeah.
But if you want to get to know me and I like you, you like me, let's see where this goes, right? I'm also like that in my business life, but I guess what I'm trying to say is that it's okay to be you.
Yeah.
We're having a weird chat today, but I am enjoying it. It's like we go
100%. It's okay. It's definitely okay to be you. Like, you've said a couple of things already. Like, how did you know at age 8 that you wanted to be a business owner?
Because my dad was one, and I liked the idea of offering a service. I liked the idea of service. I liked the idea of building something.
So your love language is service, acts of service.
Yeah, acts of service. And love language is more, it's service and touch, but at the end of the day, it's about, I lend my car out on photo shoots.
Yeah.
And I don't tell people who I am. I just show up, give the car. If the photographers need help with water or carrying whatever, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Right? Because I like doing that, because I'm not in MD mode.
Yeah.
Here's the car. Do you mind if we fucking shoot in and out? I don't care. Just open it car. It's protected. It's got ceramic coated. Just go fucking nuts.
What car is it?
2017 550 Mustang. Called Lana. My ex named it after Lana Del Rey white Mustang. And the car's more famous. She's a nice car. She's pumper.
I think I might have to gatekeep this fucking podcast episode.
Yeah.
For my own personal photo shoots.
Oh, absolutely, man. You can, but I'm always very, very comfortable around a photo shoot. I don't care. People be themselves. I don't care. You know what I mean?
I think it's it is important to be yourself.
Yep.
And I think you also said something earlier on about having to not be yourself, like when you're in MD mode
Correct.
versus your personal.
Mate, I don't even use love hearts in the Teams chat, mate.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that you say that because for someone who's gone through so many different transformations,
Fuck yeah,
you know, and you've had to like rebuild yourself. In actual fact, what you've done is you've acquired a memory bank of all the different versions of yourself.
correct.
And you're just applying a particular version to a particular scenario
100%.
to get the best outcome.
Yep.
So in actual fact, you are being yourself.
Yeah.
It's just that you're not merging.
Correct. I meet too many company directors that are too fucking friendly with their stuff. They'll catch up on weekends. They're going on like weird weekend retreats together, and I'm like, this is blurring fucking lines. Like, you shouldn't. This is bad. Oh, I just get along so well with my staff. They're not your friends. Like, I don't even follow any. Actually, I follow my CFO, and
that's only because you're afraid of them.
Yeah. And but I had a Perth office, but I did a deal with my manager over there because it was just, I wanted to come out of Perth and focus on the East Coast. But I used to have George Mann work for me. Now that's the same George Mann who's the Muay Thai fighter. 3 WCB belts, and I only follow him and Rachel on social. I don't follow any of the other staff. I don't follow the contractors. I don't follow my clients because at the end of the day, even though I've got a public profile, you can see my videos, whatever.
Yeah,
I need to make sure that Tavis Shearer, the MD, is different to Tavis Shearer personal.
yeah.
Because if you don't, fuck, man, it's too many managing directors, and you see it fall into this fucking trap of being two friends, and you can't fucking manage the business, and like it just ends in how many businesses have you gone into consulting that are fucked because the MD has been male or female too fucking close to the staff, and they've run a fucking riot?
Yeah, 100%.
Yulka, my roommate, she was saying that, you know, she's having to deal with, you know, she hears in the grapevine that other managers in other companies were doing shots with their staff at 11 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, fuck. Yeah, go down to the pub at 11 o'clock in the morning.
Were they working at Liquorland? BWS?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
holy shit.
They would go down to the fucking Mitre or whatever at 11 a.m.
Shot of coffee, maybe.
Yeah,
but
at 11. And this is on, and what? Are they celebrating something? No, we'll just go do drink. And I'm like,
what?
But this is what I'm getting
Mate,
at.
I would be dead.
Yeah, fuck yeah. I mean, but this is what I'm getting at. Like, too many people just want, I just feel that, like, if we had more focus and more presence and that, we wouldn't have half the fucking dramas that we have at the moment. But, you know, VCAT's overflowing with shit that just shouldn't be there. You know, people are just, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'm like, why? Why are we having these problems?
Yeah.
Why is the only way to really talk to people over podcasting now? Or I haven't seen your stats, but how many people actually watch an entire podcast series, or they just watch the shorts?
Look, so I don't have that many subscribers on like YouTube or anything like that.
The impressions.
But, you know, it's definitely around like 20,000.
Yeah, well, there you go. You're killing it, man.
You
I
know.
mean, I'm still in the thousands, but like, but that's what people's viewing habits are changing, where they just, I don't want to watch the whole episode. I'll just watch the shorts.
Yeah.
There are apps out there now to consolidate books into a 10-minute fucking summary, right? Because everyone wants the fucking instantaneous. They want the instantaneous relationship now. They want the instantaneous fame. They want the fucking instantaneous pay rise. I want more money. You're not worth more money. You need to bring value to me.
You can even do all of that with Chat GPT. You can go.
Oh, yeah, fuck it. I love Chat.
Here is the link.
Yep.
To this video, summarize it for me and turn it into an ebook.
Correct. Correct. And it's like, I love chat. Like, I use it to help me post because I brought this up a few times. I am dyslexic and I am badly dyslexic. I'm not a little bit dyslexic. I'm a lot fucking dyslexic. Hence, when I do podcasts, I'm a little bit, oh, we need to add in this, and this. James, who produces my podcast, he has an interesting time trying to edit it all back together for us. But he makes me like it's seamless, right?
I think you've got a particular style that I like.
Yeah, I like ad-libbing and just seeing what mood I'm in.
Yeah.
Like, and I'll be honest, when I was getting in the car this morning, I'm like, oh, I'm going to talk personal today. Am I ready for this? It's like,
I mean, we can talk about anything.
yeah, but I know, but at the end of the day, I want to give your listeners and followers value.
I think it is important to talk about like personal stuff, but like being yourself because it's, I don't know.
Business ownership.
It's grounding.
It is ground. Business ownership isn't for everyone, right?
Yeah.
And I was at a dear friend's birthday party last night, and there was a lot of people there. They've got a job, they've got their following, and they're having their best life.
Yeah.
And they don't have payroll tax, BAS payments, GST, workers' comp,
Boring.
liability,
Fucking hell.
I tell you what, man, industrial manslaughter does my head in, right? Because that's the big one.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but that's just the life I chose, and that's the life they chose. And I look at it and go, fuck, it'd be nice to have that.
Yeah.
But I don't think I'd be honestly happy with myself.
Nah.
Like, I don't have that Sunday afternoon dread. Like, Sunday's my happiest day of the week. You know, I'll smoke a cigar, I'll chill, and I don't work on a Sunday.
What's your favorite cigar?
Monte Cristo No. 2.
Oh.
Very, very good.
Nice.
And like, I like setting a goal and I like achieving that goal. Have I achieved everything I've set out to achieve? No, not even fucking close.
What's the number one thing on that list?
Peace.
That's a never-ending journey.
Correct.
What's number 2?
Farm. So 1997, I was ranked 3rd in the state of Western Australia for cattle judging.
Wow.
I went to Bindoon Ag for a year. So I did Scotch College in Adelaide.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I got a few stories. I did Scotch College year 10, and then my parents decided to give their marriage one more go, so we moved to Perth.
Yeah.
96. So I did 96, 97 Bindoon Ag, and then I found out there was signs. So on my report card at Scotch, I had D for English, D for maths. Geography, I think, was a C, but straight A's for agriculture because they had his farm there.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, okay, there's something going on here. So we're going to send him to a boarding school in Perth called Bindoon Ag, Catholic Ag. Now, I'm an atheist, and I knew at this time I was an atheist. So the Christian brothers who ran the school, they understood that I was not going to anticipate anything in religious. So on a Saturday night at Mass, I would just sit there. I wouldn't anticipate. I just sit there. I was respectful.
We know he's not going to participate.
He's not going to participate at all.
Fuck, that kid's in my class.
Yeah. I was that guy. So in 97, I was ranked 3rd in the state for cattle judging. So since then, I've always wanted a farm. But the problem is farms cost a lot of money to run.
Oh yeah.
My best mate my best mate's family has a vineyard in Chittering Valley, and that thing chomps cash. I mean, holy shit! But that's the dream for me. To be farm, work on the farm, just be at peace.
Where would the farm be?
East Coast, probably somewhere between here and Sydney.
Yeah.
Like somewhere up there. I was up. I went and saw my naturopath this morning in Hillsville, and there's a couple of places out there, but they're the sort of.
That's a nice place.
Yeah, it's like those sort of. I look at those sort of costs as like they're not. You know, they're not the sort of thing that you should be taking a mortgage out on. You know, you shouldn't. Or if you are, it's got to be small. It's like people buy boats or they have holiday homes. Boats. I like going on a boat, but I like the best boat is to have someone else's. Or
because then you don't have to keep pay for the maintenance.
The best beach house to have is someone else's.
Yeah.
And I kind of think, but so that's the ultimate goal for me. And as long as it brings fucking peace to me, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
I feel that we don't talk enough about true fulfillment as a society. You know, like I'm in a job that I hate. I'm in a relationship I shouldn't be in. I'm not doing any of my goals or hobbies or anything that I want to do. I'm not going on the holidays that I want to do. I'm just existing. I think that's a very lonely life.
Why do you think that is?
I think people are scared to be the person they want to be. They're worried about judgment. They're worried about paying the bills, or they're worried about how to make something work, or they're worried about they're worrying for the sake of worrying because they don't know any better. I talk about a relationship I had 2 years ago, but this is a quite a common pattern that I've noticed where I'll stay in something longer than I should. I'll stay working with a client longer than I should because I'm worried about where am I going to replace the business from, or I've been in a relationship too long because I'm ignoring the red flags, or that, or I've stayed living somewhere longer than I should because. Nothing against Perth. I did feel like I didn't fit in Perth. I feel I was too motivated to get up and go, to sit into the Perth wait a while lifestyle, right? You know,
I totally understand that.
You know what I mean? Like they like to chill, the Sunday sesh, chilling. It's all good.
If you don't like the beach every day
or sand,
don't live in Perth
or sun,
yeah,
or getting burnt, or snakes.
Yeah,
I've got some big fucking snakes. Fuck.
Yeah.
And I just feel that you don't have to have a normal life to be like. And I've met some people that just work part-time, they travel around Australia, and they're happy. And I love that. And that is the true definition. My true definition of success is doing what aligns with your purpose. If your purpose is to work Monday to Friday and then have bowling weekends and go to back jerk, great, you are successful because you're living your life on your terms. But I don't think enough people live their life on their terms. They're trying to pay the bills versus doing what they want purpose-wise and then working out how to pay the bills.
Doing it the backwards.
Correct. And I've done that for so fucking long. Like, I've only been into the cars. Well, I've been in cars my whole life, but properly into the car scene for 2 years. And it's great. I should have done it sooner. Met some great people. Makes me very happy. But in order to live a fulfilled life, people need to get the fuck out of their own way, get out of their own comfort zone. And I meet a lot of people that ask me, how do I start a business? You just fucking start. I don't know what to do. I don't know what the business is. Just start. Open a book. You've got, the power, that book, The Power of.
Yeah.
I've read that. I'm trying to figure who the hell is. Yeah. That's great. The whole series is great. Yeah. Read some books.
Yeah.
Read a podcast. Watch a podcast. Like,
there's so much information, abundant information out there.
Correct.
I think what happens sometimes is people get confused because of the fact that there's so many options.
Correct.
And they don't know where to start. And I think a lot of it is, and we've already spoken about it, but like subscribing into this dogma of what you should be doing. You should be married with kids and have a stable job by the age of X, right? And if that doesn't happen, then you have all these like external pressures put on you. But then also if you later in life do something different, you then have even more expectations and more pressures put on you. But then you come to a phase in your life, I think, where, and there's been books about this, no fucks given, right? Once you reach that stage, it's like, the world opens up and your eyes open up into seeing all these different things.
Correct.
And it's like, oh, I can see what's happening there. I can see what's happening there. I can see what's happening there. I'm just going to do my own thing.
But you've got to get to that
But
point.
but also being like comfortable with doing that, right?
Again, I don't know any other way to do this, but you need to be forged as a male. I mean, might say about masculine dominant energy versus female dominant energy.
Yeah.
We could have another podcast about that.
Yeah.
I think the reason why I did things and put up with situations, again, personally and business, not particular one decision, is I didn't listen to my male masculine energy enough.
Yeah.
I have to do this for the better good. I have to, like, we all have to do things we don't want to do, right? I'm not a massive fan of paying tax, but, you know, ATO is on my third fucking thing that I'm fucking scared of. So, like, I feel, and I don't get the fucking answers right to this day. Like, I'm not saying to please don't live your life the way I have. Like, this is not the fucking, it's the biggest regret I have is putting so much energy into situations that never eventuated. Worrying about this, worrying about that. What should I be doing here? What should I be doing there? When I should have been going, fuck it. Let's just walk away from this. If it's meant to be, it'll be.
Yeah.
Like, and man, I tell you, so when I was going through my liquidation, I was swimming in Jack Daniels. As I said, I started TRS Resourcing because I needed money for Jack Daniels. Was I an alcoholic? No. I could stop, but I didn't want to stop. At one stage there, I was living in I was living in Carlton, and I was on first name basis with every single bar between Carlton and Fitzroy. And I was out in one of my walks one night, and I went past the Black Pearl. Now, and then the Black Pearl was having a birthday. It was 2017, I think.
Yeah.
They're all dressed up in there, and I got invited, and I was just in my tracksuits. Everyone was just looking at me going, who the fuck is this guy? But like, I'm just, hey, what's going on? But I
think I was living in North Carlton at the time.
Yeah, okay. So I was on Elgin Street in the apartment building opposite the BP there.
Oh, yeah.
Same building as John Elliott lived in, the ex-Carlton president. He gave me a lot of business advice at that time.
Yeah.
I used to give him lifts in my Uber if he was going to one of his lunches. And like, I was so not backing myself, self-doubt. How can I be going through this liquidation? I've done wrong. I fucked up all this here, all about me. Like, and me blaming myself on everything. When I should have taken a step back and gone, Perth market was shit. I trusted people I shouldn't have trusted. Yeah. Yes, I made mistakes here, but it wasn't all just me.
Yeah.
It was other factors there, and I had this massive self-sabotage. If I had got out of my own way and sought professional help and that sort of thing, TRS would be a lot bigger company than it is today. Because I wasted 3 years of very prosperous times in Melbourne by just hiding and not hiding from my responsibilities, but just hiding from the world. You know, I wasn't dating, you know, I wasn't doing any of that. And like, I look back at that now and I go, what the fuck was I worried about? What the fuck? Like, seriously, what was I actually worried about? Was I worried that my liquidation was just going to go on forever? Was I worried that, you know, I was going to get in trouble? Was I like, at the end of the day, right, mistakes were made. 100 fucking %. But were all those mistakes my fucking fault? I need to take responsibility and ownership for what I did wrong. And what I did is basically assumed everything was going to be okay and she'll be right, mate, and fucking just keep on living the facade. You know, I go through my old Facebook and I find, you know, the Range Rover I had then and the fucking all that sort of stuff. Now, I love my Ranges and I will get another one, but like, there was a reason why I waited 6 years before I bought another car.
Yeah.
Because I was kind of punishing myself for the liquidation. And like, you know, if you'd asked me 3 years ago, you know, tell me in 3 years, in 3 years' time, we're going to be sitting on your couch today and you're going to be talking about your liquidation and fucking relationships you've had and all that, I say, fuck off. I'm too fucking shy. I'm not that. And it's just amazing what happens when you just start being honest in front of a camera and start talking.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
That's exactly right.
And just keep going with it. And like, will I make fuck uppers again? Yeah, definitely not to the level I had. It's like, I guess people just need to know that just because we're business owners or whatever, we're going to make fucking mistakes. We're going to fuck up.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's okay.
That's more than okay.
Yeah.
But being comfortable with saying that. See, I didn't know what I was going to talk about with you today. I was like, I'm in a kind of mood where I'm going to talk about personal stuff. And I'm like, do I really want to fucking talk about this? Like, really, do I want to? I was driving over here and I got here a bit early, so I went out of coffee and went, right, do I actually want to talk about this today? Or are we just going to have a mindset session around business that I do in my world of podcasting?
Yeah.
And I went, nah. And I actually watched a couple of your podcasts again. And I went, nah, you're going to ask me questions then. And I was, you asked me during the week, is there anything on the no list? And my reply back to you is, no, I'm at peace with my past. So let's roll with it.
And I think that's great. Like I think a lot of people, we've spoken about judgment, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people will judge themselves and be way too harsh on themselves.
Correct.
And it's like, we just need to take a chill pill, just acknowledge the fact that we're all feeling our way through this walk of life, and we'll all kind of make mistakes and, have some wins and meet some great people and meet some not so great people and like all that type of stuff, right? And all of that's okay.
It is, but people have to be okay with being okay.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with it. I guess you're okay with it, but I would like more people to be okay with who they are.
Yeah. Who inspires you?
Okay, this is going to sound a bit fucking weird. All right. But with all the people's stories I've read and everything, the person that inspires me is the better version of me. So the guy that gets up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go to the gym, the guy that gets up and does his fucking 20 client calls a day, the guy that does everything better than I do at the moment, that's the guy that inspires me. The better version of me that is out there in a parallel fucking universe kicking my fucking ass. That's who inspires me. I know that sounds a bit fucking like the better version of me out there somewhere.
I mean, I think that's just a testament to the type of person who you are.
I actually learned it from my best friend, Trine Christos. Shout out to Trine. You could say all these inspirational people and that. At the end of the day, the person that inspires me is the person that I want to be tomorrow.
Yeah. Not
some sort of narcissistic, fucking what, like me. I'm sure people will read it. That sounds really narcissistic. Trust me, it's not. But maybe even me saying
that. Is it narcissistic for a narcissist to say that?
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I'm sure the comments will tell us.
I think you're just acknowledging it. Like, you just...
Yeah. But this is it. Again, it comes back to healthy debate.
But then there's also this piece around manifestation, right? Like, if you say it, does it mean it's going to happen?
No, you got to put the fucking work in. I actually reposted this on my private Insta the other day. You could fucking manifest whatever you want, but you still got to do the fucking work.
Yeah.
You still got to do the repetitions. You still got to fucking show up. I'm just going to write, I want $1 million tomorrow.
You still got to do the work.
Got to do the fucking work.
100. What business are you going to fucking run to fucking do that?
Well, whatever. But this is it. Like, how many? I've had my backers on my podcast who back the company, and we talked about fraud. And where fraud starts from is a very small amount, whether it's an employee or defrauding the base. Always starts at $1,000, $500. But then once this pattern of behavior is set, it goes for 1,000, 10,000, 100,000. And that's how you hear these court cases where the fucking bookkeeper swindled fucking $10 million out of the company and blew it all on fucking pokies and stuff.
Yeah.
But
how the fuck did they do that?
It's because it's set patterns of behavior, right?
Yeah.
So how the fuck does someone go from from this to that? They never started out, okay, we're going to do fraud or we're going to do this or that. It's just one pattern of behavior that they've done today sets them up to do something again tomorrow, and you're more comfortable with it. I trained with Jordan Belfort in 2011. Actually, that's a funny story in itself. Now, this is before the movie came out and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And Jordan talks about ethics, and I said, well, how does a guy that fucking got $100 million fine and defrauded all these people talk about ethics?
Yeah.
Because he's been through the cycle of daily actions equaling ending up in jail. And he was away from his kids and stuff. And I'm not defending what he did or anything like that, but whatever we do in life, it has to be with ethics. And that's something that I've learned. And funny enough, I was working for Blue Collar People. I saw Jordan present in Perth, signed up for his course, did his course 3-4 months later, came back, resigned from Blue Collar People, went and worked for another company, then started consulting for a UK company, and then started doing my own business. And that's where that whole thing came from. But like, I kind of guess everything that's happened to my life has always been a reaction to a decision that I've made. Yeah. I decided to move from Perth to Melbourne over a weekend. Packed my house up, I was gone. Left Adelaide when I was 15.
What was her name?
No, funny enough, everyone tells me, were you following another girl? And I'm like, no.
Another girl?
Oh, well, I followed my girlfriend to London, right?
Yeah.
There was that story. And then I moved to Melbourne full time in 2016. So, well, I just, I was
the girl's name was your recruitment agency.
TRS. She takes all my time. I have no time for any other woman in my life. That and Lana, the car, is like you make a decision. Yeah. And once you set that decision, regardless of whatever that decision is, you go through with it.
Yeah.
And they're the times in my life where I've made a decision. I've been sure of who the fuck I am. No, actually, that's bullshit. I'm fucking gassing myself here. Made a decision whether I knew the outcome of or whatever, and just stuck to it. And just worked on that daily, right? And I guess that was the success of TRS. Now, TRS has done this. She's been a roller coaster, man, like massive, massive highs, massive, massive lows. And funny enough, and I can only connect the dots looking back, is the roller coaster ride of TRS basically is almost identical to my roller coaster life in my personal life, where one thing, and we've talked about peace and balance, but again, it's like you don't fucking know what you don't know. I'm rambling a bit here, but like, I think that in order to have a fulfilled life, you need to have your career, your work, your job, money sorted out, but then equally as much time in your personal life. And that's what I've always struggled. It's always been business, a little bit of personal. Now, it's like personal and business. And it's working better. Like a lot of people say in the last 12 months, I'm a different Tav again. Weirdly, with everything kicking off, the podcasting and me going on other people's spotlight has all sort of started around the same time. So I'll be honest, I don't even remember the reason why I started podcasting.
I think it's to do with the fact that you acknowledge that people need to have more conversations.
Potentially.
And the only way that you have more conversations is you have more conversations. And allow people to listen.
So I got tricked into being a podcaster.
How the fuck does that happen?
Okay, so.
Hey, we're having drinks around my house. Don't mind these cameras.
Okay, it didn't quite happen like that, but it kind of did.
Have a cigar, Trav.
It happened with a very similar setup to this. So I was having corporate photos done. And like, I was all about, okay,
it's the corporate photos.
Okay,
bro. They got you sucked in.
So came the newsletter, and I was like, guys, we've all got fucking selfies on the website. This is bullshit. Like, we need to change up the company vibe. Anyway, I rent office space off Spaces.
Yeah.
And there's this guy, James, came on the weekly newsletter. Do you need corporate headshots? We do need corporate headshots. Oh, he's come through Space. All right. Message James. Yeah, cool. Come on down. Bring the office down.
Yeah.
And, talking to James, he was like 28 at the time, 29. And he's going, yep, do this. And he says, oh, what's your background? And he said, oh, I said this. And I started telling him about my, losing $1.2 million when I was 36, divorced, blah, blah, blah. And then he went, do you mind if I record this? Now, I think I'm putting a couple of meetings together, but he ended up just started to record. And he goes, yeah, you're really good. So why don't you come down and do some video recordings with me? And I'm like, oh, fuck, all right. Anyway, 2 or 3 of these video recordings down later, he goes, you've got a podcast series here. And I said, what the fuck are you talking about, James? These are just videos. Like, we'll put them up on YouTube, all good. Thank you very much. Go from there. But everyone then goes, oh, it sounds like you've got a podcast. I'm like, I'm not a fucking I haven't got a fucking podcast. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And then James sort of came to me and said, do you want to do a podcast? And I'm like, let me think about it. And normally when I say, let me think about it, it's a really nice way of saying, fuck off. Let me think about it. You dealing with your management consultant, when they say, let me think about your ideas, it's a way of saying, fuck off.
Yeah.
And I thought about it and I went, oh, I need to do this. I know. And like something inside just told me, stop being a dick, step up, be present, and actually just fucking see where this goes.
Yeah.
So
I love that.
I started off by interviewing staff, and then I interviewed my friends. And then I got Simon Allsop on, who's the co-founder of Bull Rush.
Mm-hmm.
And that was probably my first big, like one of the shorts went to 7,000, one 2,000. The actual long form's gone to 6,500, 7,000 views.
Wow.
And weirdly, what made me like on video was a short that Simon did with me called AI in Accounting. And it goes for like 20 seconds or something. And it's like one of the most viewed videos on AI in accounting ever.
It's because it goes for 20 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's how I became a podcaster.
And it's a reflection of people's attention span.
Yeah. Fucking tell me about it. So I've had to learn the hard way on how to talk. And I don't think I'm still that good at it. Like, I think you've definitely been doing this longer, and you ask a lot better questions and keeping it back on track. But maybe it's just me fucking talking it down. But like, I got a question for you. What have you learned from your podcasting? Are you a better photographer? Do you take different shots now? Are you asking more direct questions?
I can read people better.
Okay, good answer.
Yeah, I can read people better because I could read people pretty well before podcasting, but my ability to like engage, and be curious.
I could tell you are a good podcaster by the type of photos you take, and your models are very relaxed in front of the camera.
Yeah.
And not everyone can do that. And with a very, very, very limited knowledge I have in that industry, like extremely fucking limited, I could tell that you're definitely someone that makes people feel at peace and calm.
Yeah.
So when I was coming on today, I was going, fuck, this is going to be an interesting chat because I know where this is going to go. Yeah. And I haven't spoken about a lot of this stuff in this detail. Like everyone goes, but it was always from a business point of view. It wasn't from a, how the fuck do you pick yourself up?
Yeah. Look, I think the life experiences that I've had, I have the skill and ability to make people feel comfortable.
Yep.
And to allow them to open up, and be, from a photography point of view, be in what's perceived as a vulnerable situation, you know, when everybody's completely safe with whatever's going on. And
you think you're going to do a photography book of your work?
Oh, I'd love to do a photography book. Yeah.
I've met Rocam twice now. He's the automotive photographer.
Yeah.
And I've got both of his books. And like, it takes him about 18 months to put a book together. But he has like a cult following with that thing. It's definitely like, I mean, your work's good, man. I think you should also do a book. But like, you know, that kind of, because not to say you do this for the money. I mean, I don't podcast for money. Trust me, I would love to have a sponsor. But like, you know, you do it for your own reasons. But I think that would be a great way of, you know.
Yeah. Oh, look, I've got lots of things like in the pipeline coming up for the rest of the year, and they'll just be like building blocks to like other things.
Has anyone ever put your, I know you know, you keep everything separate, but has anyone put your photography and your consultancy work together? And have you ever had anyone come up and you consult say, can you photo shoot me? And you're like, no. It could be a bit awkward.
Look, yes. Yeah. Okay. Some people have put two and two together and have been really surprised and really supportive, and then others not so much, or they kind of didn't really understand. No one in the corporate life has asked me to take photos of them.
Good. But
you know, so yeah.
Because I could sort of, because everyone's like getting more comfortable with themselves is the wrong word, but like the conversations I overhear just randomly in public now, I'm just like, you would never have that in like, you know, like I'm like, should you really be having that level of conversation with you? I understand it's your bestie, but I'm trying to have fucking a coffee here, and you're talking about what happened last night.
Yeah. In public,
like it's just normal.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm just 45 and have a different view of the world.
Yeah, I definitely think that people are more comfortable in sharing information.
Absolutely, but like. Yeah,
I've got a funny story.
I love a funny story.
No, I'll tell it to you afterwards.
Oh, afterwards. Yeah, okay. Right. We get this one. We can't fucking. Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes I do forget that's there. Like, yeah.
But look, I think at the end of the day, like communication and sharing of what's going on is a good thing.
Yeah, I do.
Having the right setting probably is key, but you know, stuff's going to happen.
Yeah, I get that. But mate, your photography work is like, you got a very big following. Like you've obviously put a lot of fucking work into that.
Well, 12 years.
Yeah, but like you can see it's evolved. Because I do, when I come on this thing, I do research, because I don't want to just show up and, what do you do? Oh, really? You're like, you know, I have no fucking idea. To be honest with you, they're not really great podcasts to go on, like, or to be on, because it's just, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
And we've only just met today, so like.
Well, I did no research on you.
That's okay.
That's kind of my thing.
Yeah, I
don't do research on anybody.
I don't know when you sent me a message on Insta, I'm like, yeah, fuck it, let's just go for this.
Yeah, I saw you were a podcaster. I was like, fuck, I'll get him on my podcast. He sounds like a cool guy.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Everyone's like,
and then I found out that you accidentally fell into that.
Yeah, 100%. Like, that's why if you go on my LinkedIn, it's like LinkedIn's my social media drug of choice.
Yeah.
And like, I put everything there, and people go like, oh, do you want to make money from it? No, I don't. That's not the other reason I'm a podcaster is I do promote my business on it.
Yeah.
I do have clients on it. I do bring people on my podcast that I want to do business with. My business, like everyone's business, is highly competitive. And I invite people on the podcast. It's a win-win. They get a copy of the long form, copy of the short form. And that the reason why I do it's because I want to add value and service without and actually getting something out of it. And then, but also people, as you know, like you get people on a podcast and you've got to warm them up. Like for the first 5-10 minutes, they're down here. And by the end of it, they're screaming down the phone. I think there should be more of that. But it's, how do you find getting your guests on your podcast? Because I've either find they want to fucking do it or they don't. There's no in between.
I've had a few people decline wanting to jump on, but then I've had some guests who refer me guests.
Okay.
And it just like it's organically like grown to like this network of people.
Okay.
I find though that those people are definitely the extroverts.
See, I'm introverted.
So extroverts want to talk. They want to, like talk about what's going on in their life and their industry, and they want to, kind of promote themselves, and that's fantastic.
Yeah.
What I like is diving deeper into what makes you you. How can we uncover the magic equation that's created Tav? Because chances are there's thousands of people out there that are like you.
Oh, 100%.
And they haven't cracked the code yet.
100%. I tell you what's made me to this point. A lot of fuck-ups and finally learning the lesson. Not the easy way, the hard way. And the hard way is divorce. There was a bit of drama at the end of my divorce, but this isn't the platform to go into it.
Yeah.
Me then learning how to be single again in my 30s, finally having the self-confidence to go after my dreams, fucking up that dream spectacularly, moving to Melbourne with $5,000 to my name and starting again. Learning how to, taking all the lessons I've learned previously into TRS, still fucking up TRS. Like when the first year I opened TRS, I lost 120 grand. Oh, fucking Jesus. That was, and so that was on top of the liquidation, and then regrouping again, learning the lesson again. I'm really good at learning the lesson, but not learning the lesson the first time.
Yeah.
Like that fire's hot. We'll stop fucking touching it. But
yeah. But it looks nice, and I want to touch it.
And it's warm.
Yeah.
And it makes me feel cozy and normal and like accepted. And all this sort of shit. Like, and then you realize, hang on a second, why am I burnt all over? Oh,
yeah. Why is my skin melting?
Yeah. Like, yeah. But then, and learning that, but then also understanding that, learning the lesson and then understanding the fallout from learning. You're still burnt, right? You're still burnt from the fire, but now you acknowledge that you're burnt, but now you've got to learn to live with the scars.
Yeah. I fucking love the scars though.
Oh, the scars are great.
Because the scars are the stories of the fucking experience.
So I have a question for you. Your tattoos, what's the stories behind them?
So,
because there must be a reason why one sleeve's different to the other.
Yeah. So all my left side is this.
Yep. Okay.
So my whole leg is done, and I'm yet to get my.
I have no tattoos.
I'm yet to get my ribs done, but I've got the outline of a dragon on my back.
Okay. How many hours is that going to be, or is that days?
The leg was 65 hours. So this one was like 17 hours.
So what do you got left?
The back, I've probably got, so the back we've already done like at least probably 19 hours. I reckon it's in the vicinity of maybe 60. And then the ribs,
be so painful.
The ribs will be, I don't know, like probably 27.
Does it symbolize anything, or is it just you like the design and that's what you feel that's what it should be?
Well, so I got this tribal sleeve done when I got divorced.
Yep.
And I felt like it was just at the time a representation of, because there's lots of different kind of like I guess, designs mixed into one.
I get it.
You know,
I get it. It's your new. I get it.
because of the different life that I've had.
Who
you
are
know, the lifestyle that I've had.
Yeah.
And then this design is more, and I've got a little koi fish like on my shin. This design is more in line with me acknowledging this whole like rising from the ashes, like transformative like life that I've had.
Yep.
You know, and so there will be a larger koi like on my ribs, and then the transformation to the dragon on the back, which is that whole Japanese methodology.
I love it.
Of running the fish running upstream against the current.
Yeah.
And defying all odds to then, you know, get to the top and transform into the dragon.
Okay. That sounds epic.
Yeah. I was originally going to get a phoenix on my back, but my tattoo artist was like, you may want to reconsider that.
I'm so glad you did. It's such
because the phoenix is in the same bird category as a chicken.
Correct.
And it may turn out to look like a chicken.
That as well. And a symbolization of a phoenix is, to me, it's meeting defeat and then rising from it, but the defeat's still there, where a dragon is like a fucking dragon.
Yeah, it's a dragon.
It's a fucking dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fucking dragon. It's a fucking dragon.
I'll show you a photo of the outline because I'm not going to take my shirt off.
No, it's fine.
But yeah, it's
I love it. Holy shit. Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And how long is it going to take to fill that in?
As I said, probably
really? Yeah.
Another 65 hours. I'm already at 19.
So what, you do a little bit a month?
Yeah, like every 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
I can do like 5 hours.
So you do 5 hours. So 5 into 60. 12 more times 2. So what, 4 months? Somewhere around there?
Yeah, about 6 months.
Well,
five.
I'm dyslexic
5 months,
maths, man.
yeah.
So I'm like, I kind of do it by feel.
Yeah.
Okay. Fuck.
But that's time commitment, you know.
Yeah.
Someone said to me, "Oh, why don't you just go to Bali and get it done?" And I'm like, you know, I don't like the idea of potentially getting ink poisoning, let alone having
everything else.
five artists going at me at the same time and then having to fly home.
But it's
plus
also,
I'm committed to my artist.
Well,
like,
this is it. Like you've got a relationship with the artist. So I'm all for people doing tattoos and cosmetic surgery. You fucking do you.
Yeah.
But let's do you in a really safe medical environment.
Yeah.
You know, let's fly off and have some work done. Why? We've got really good doctors here in Australia, like good facilities.
Yeah.
Oh, but they're so expensive for a reason.
Yeah.
It's not like there's a reason why they're expensive, but you know, I have this weird view on the life that, like, if you know, work hard, look after yourself, but be truly responsible for yourself.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we should just put everyone through public hospitals. Well, if we did fucking that, there'd be no fucking room for anyone.
Yeah, exactly.
You gotta pay. I don't know, man. I feel like work hard, pay for what you want, and then just fucking like do that. And like, I don't know, man. Something happened when I was 24. I started face moisturizing, and I got private health insurance, and I still do both to this day. I don't know what happened when I was 24, but I decided.
That's very random.
Very random.
At 24, you decided to use face moisturizer.
I don't know. And I have done every fucking day since, right? So I started face moisturizing at 24, and I took out private health insurance.
Hang on.
Why?
Why?
I don't know. I just felt like.
Why did you start face moisturizing?
Because I was getting dry skin, and I was like, hang on, I'm getting dry skin.
I'm going to throw a fucking seed in your garden.
Yeah.
Start using Korean skincare.
Korean skincare?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's even better.
Korean skincare. Okay, where do we get this Korean skincare from?
Oh,
And you know what? I'll use chat. It's fine. I'll find some Korean.
there's actually a shop at Chadston W.
Yeah.
It's called W Cosmetics or whatever, but they got a website. I'll send you stuff.
Please.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just one of my random facts. So I've got this big face moisturizer on my desk.
Yeah.
Plus a shrine to the recruitment gods to remind me not to take life too fucking seriously.
Yeah.
Because that's one of my other things. I get very serious in life. I'm just so fucking serious. I'm really trying not to be.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to be, but like you've got some shit going on, or this or that, or some drama, and I'm like, I understand it. Yeah.
That is funny.
I don't know, man. I try to remind myself that none of us are getting out of this alive.
Yeah. Nah.
Like
none of us are.
None of us are, and like I'm 45, right? You're 45, and like that happened like that.
Yeah.
And at 50, technically, more than half of our life is over. Because what's the average? See, what's the average? 87. What's the average life expectancy?
Yeah, I think it's 87 for men and 89 for women.
Okay, so both of us are very close to half of our lives gone.
My dad passed away at 64.
Fuck. Yeah. I'm very sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
That's fucked. And so it's not so much
I didn't have a great relationship with him, so that's completely fine.
I gathered that, but I wasn't 100% sure, so I just went around the edge on that one. Sometimes, yeah. How much time do we have left to achieve our goals? And as I said, my mentor, one of my dearest friends in the whole wide world, Nathan, got to 52.
Wow.
Okay? You don't fucking know how much time you got on this rock. And I guess this is part of my philosophy in the last couple of years of starting to podcast and speaking to people like yourself and being vulnerable in front of the camera and starting to live the life that I deserve, but not through entitlement, but through actual hard fucking work and actually making sure that hard work means something.
Yeah.
Because everyone has dreams and aspirations, but I don't want to be that guy sitting in palliative care or whatever going, I wish I did this with my life, or I wish I did that. Are we about to cook another battery?
No.
Okay,
No.
Cool.
It's all good.
So I guess what I'm trying to say is that I don't have the answers to life. Fuck, I wish I did.
No, I don't think anybody does. If you think
I reckon Amazon might.
I think if you
they know something.
If you think you did, like good on you. Maybe you've cracked the code for your own journey, but it's not going to work for everybody.
I couldn't agree more. Like at the end of the day, it's people think they're going to live. People live their lives, in my view, that they're going to live forever. They're going to, they're going. It doesn't matter if I'm in this bad relationship or this bad job or is like they think they're going to live forever. If I could go back and tell my 21-year-old self, 20-year-old self, this, I would say this: get out of your own fucking way, go ask that fucking girl out, and fucking lean into your potential, and stop trying to plan every aspect of your fucking life out.
So true.
Just get out of your own fucking way. Go ask that fucking girl out, Tav. Oh, I'm too shy. Fuck it. Fuck you. Go do it.
I wouldn't have thought that you were an introvert.
100%. People think this persona of me being extroverted all the time, it's learned. Like I am the biggest introvert in the fucking world. Like
So sorry, this extroverted persona is learned.
Yes.
Okay.
It's learned through good things happening and knowing that if I want to meet people and have the most fulfilled life ever, I need to get out of the front door.
I think it takes a lot, right?
Well, yeah, it does.
It takes a lot to consistently push yourself to kind of like do that.
Yep.
And there's a lot of people out there that would be able to listen to this and the messages resonate with them.
I'd hope so.
Yeah.
I hope they learned, because I learned the hard way by
Mm.
keep getting burnt by the fire until a point where I'm like, I need to sort
I
this
think
out.
it's almost better that you learned the hard way.
Yeah, I do too. I'm not at all woe is me for the things that have happened to me, and again, this isn't the platform to go into all of them, because I I always have interesting stories, whether they're what's happened to me or this is what's happened, or it's always, if you're not always learning, if you're not looking at a situation going, what can I what can I learn from this? Or, like, I personally get a little bit worried when my life is going too well. Now that's learned behavior. I'm not self-sabotaging, but sometimes when things are going well, I'm like, okay, clients are happy this week at work, home's good, everything okay. I'm looking around the next corner going, fuck, is there something going to jump out? But that is learned. Now, sometimes nothing happens. And I have actually gone to speak to someone professionally about this feeling that I've had that potentially something's gonna happen. And I've got better at not worrying about stuff that I can't control. But I also feel that people get dominated by their thoughts, and they allow their thoughts to run their life, where they really just should open the front door, go on that date, be present, see what happens. I mean, dating's a shit show at the moment, and I've watched a few of your podcasts where you've gone into that, but I don't feel today's that podcast. But maybe it is. I don't fucking know.
That's your next series on your podcast.
No, well, I keep it to this one. Is like, oh, fucking go. Business owners going into dating. Fuck. Oh, man. Fuck that. Not the only clients or anyone's coming on that, like, we're not talking about dating.
Yeah. Unless it's a CEO of Bumble or Hinge, or
isn't the chick from Bumble? Isn't she the one who had the fallout with the Twitter? Yeah. I've heard her story, and I'm not that I'm interested in it, but there seems to be more there than what.
Yeah.
Like, they never really discuss what happened at Twitter.
No.
I mean, the reason why I don't have a business partner, people go, you need a business partner to be successful. I disagree for that reason. You get two people together, it doesn't matter if you like this, eventually you're going to be like fucking this. And I've seen, it's a reason why Resourcing Group, where I was working for in the UK, got sold. The management started to do this. And that's why I've always been a solo director. But
yeah.
Again, like, trying to find that perfect harmony and balance and peace in your life where you always do that.
Yeah.
Is it out there?
Yeah.
I don't know. We may probably the wrong people to discuss.
Like,
We're very happy in our own lives.
Yeah. What are your plans for the rest of the year?
I have Bull Rush Rally end of October, November. I'm covering a couple of holidays in the business. Go to Perth to see Mum. Probably try to get away a little bit more on weekends.
Yeah.
I'll see how I go with that. Spend probably a bit more time in Sydney. I spend a lot of time in Sydney, but my base is Melbourne. Really just more gym, more healthy living, more living in the present, really. That's the plan for the rest of the year.
Are you doing ice baths?
No, but my best mate tries and does all that stuff. I melt down in saunas. Like, I have fucking dummy spits of dummy spits of dummy spits. It's like, if you want Tav to agree to something, just put him in a sauna.
Oh.
I fucking, like, they just it's not the heat. It's just, it fucks with me on a mental, like, level. I melt down in saunas.
Right.
Like, people are going, are you all right? And I'm like, I can't. It's the humidity.
I apologize now if there's an influx of people that invite you to saunas to get a business deal done.
Yeah, deal done or something like that. Ice baths, not really. Do you believe in the ice bath?
Look, it definitely does something to your brain, which I think adds benefit to knowing that you've done that.
How many ice baths do you have a week?
Look, so I've actually got an ice bath out there on my balcony.
Okay.
But I've been going to P3, which is a recovery place in Mentone, and it's anywhere between 2 to 3 a week.
Okay, so you actually swear by it.
Yeah, which is apparently where you get the most benefit.
Yep.
You know, like if anything more, then you're not really getting a lot of benefit, or added benefit too.
Okay, on your recommendation, I will go do an ice bath, and I will let you know how it goes.
Yeah, it's So I don't drink alcohol because I'm allergic to alcohol.
I've actually heard this actually more and more common.
Yeah. So I don't have the enzyme in my liver to break down alcohol, thanks to my mother being Asian.
Did not know that.
Yeah, but I've never experienced what's called the alcohol buzz, you know?
Yep. I'm with you. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. And so an ice bath to me is kind of like a buzz that you get like on your skin.
Yeah.
And it's invigorating. It's so powerful because you get like 300% dopamine across the entire day. Like it's immense.
Do you find you're mentally clearer to make decisions?
100%.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to give this a crack.
Yeah.
So you're not feeling overwhelmed with other shit going on. You can make clear. Concise.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm definitely going to give this a crack.
100%. Yeah.
Okay. There's a reason why I came today, and that was for that. Why not? I knew I was going to get something out of it.
Yeah, amazing. Well, look, thanks so much for coming along for the chat. And yeah, I can't wait to see more stuff coming out from you on your Instagram and the
Done, man. I'll
Bull
keep
Rush
you in the loop.
Rally. And yeah,
Done. Thank you
I'd
very
love
much.
to have you on maybe like later on in the year or
Mate,
early next year.
Whenever you have room, let me know, and I'll definitely make a priority.
Yeah,
Done.
awesome.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Tav. Let me just take a quick selfie, and then we'll wrap up. Yeah. Amazing. Thanks everyone for listening in. Make sure you hit subscribe, that notification bell, and catch you guys all in the next one. See ya.